What's up, everybody? So we are back. Good morning. It's like 8 o'clock on a Sunday, and we are here to finish this Polaris, which we started on last night. Now, I've done some research through the evening and this morning, and I found out some really cool things about this kit. It's probably the best UTV turn signal kit that you can get. It is the Corbin Custom Works UTV turn signal kit. One great thing is there's no measuring or guessing on where you want to put your lights. So they already have a template that you can cut out, and you can install it there and or there. So the way this turn signal kit is set up, you have 2 turn signals on the front if you choose to have both of them, and then it actually turns the rear lights that are already on the UTV, it turns them into turn signals as well as hazards. As you saw earlier, all of the buttons are buttons that are actually meant for this. While this is probably one of the most expensive kits for turn signals and UTVs on the market, the Corbin Custom Works UTV turn signal kit is probably the best. All the connectors are watertight connectors and water safe connectors. What our next step is on this, I believe we're gonna go ahead and drill these holes. What I might do first before drilling the holes is I'm gonna find out which of these that the lights plug into. I have to take a couple of these panels off. So in here, we're gonna have to pull out a couple of these T30, I think they are, bolts. And then there are a couple of pins, kind of like what we've got to pop out, kind of like these. We've got to pop some of these out. The wires and cables that go into the back, they go right behind here. We're gonna have to pull the seats out, which are supposed to be pretty easy. And then we're gonna have to run our wiring down in there so we can get to the switches and so we can get to the back. So I'm gonna go ahead and start popping everything off, getting this taken apart and tore down to where we need to. I'm gonna explain some things as we go, but let's jump to a little time lapse and get at it. We've got to run connector A up through this grommet. We're gonna come in through this passenger side. We're gonna go A up through the grommet, and then it needs to go into here so it can go into where we are going to have the turn signal control panel. So that's what we're gonna go ahead and do right now. So we're gonna run this up through, up to where it says stop, and this will go right into there. We might have to pop this out. It says to get it through. Right here to where it says stop, and we'll go ahead and slide this grommet back down and put it in. There we go. And then same thing here. We'll go ahead and pop this grommet in here out. There we go. And then do the same thing. And then we are going to be tucking it back there, but we do have some spots inside that we're gonna need to take apart, so let's go ahead and jump to that. Okay, so the first thing it says to do is it says that we wanna cut these out, and it's easier to cut these out with them in it. We have 3 switches that we're gonna be using, so we wanna go ahead and cut 3 of these out. So we cut those. Now it says that we got to pop this off right in here. I guess there's some things. So I got this little tool. I don't know if the end's flat enough, so I'm gonna do a little bit with a screwdriver so I can get this tool there. There we go. So there's one side, and then you gotta do it to both. That comes out, then this comes out. And we've got access. Now, to me, it doesn't look like it cut all the way through the back. It looks like some of it may or may have not. I may just pop this back at least up into its place. There we go. That way I could go ahead and get the rest of the way through this. You gotta push down a little bit because it does have a wire connected back there. So we need to get the turn signal box. And what we're gonna wanna do, that wire that we just ran through the grommet up front goes right in there. It comes right through here, and we're gonna plug it into this control box. What this control box does is it has these connectors right here, okay? These connectors go for the turn signal. So one is the turn signal switch, and the other is the hazard switch. So we're gonna run the turn signal switch to right here, the hazard switch to right there, and then that grommet's gonna come through, plug into this. We're gonna have to mount this, and then these switches run up to the back, if you can get what I'm saying. So it doesn't show how or where to mount this, and I'm hoping that it'll say something soon, but this is gonna be basically down in there and mounted somewhere, and then the switches are gonna come right up here and plug right into the switches. And then we'll have one more for the horn right there. This is what I'm gonna do now, is I'm gonna go ahead and run that red switch, that first one we ran through that grommet, in through here, and I'm gonna plug it into that box, and then I'm gonna get these switches, and I'm gonna pop them into here, turn signal switch, and the hazard switch. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna jump up here and run that grommet through and get this going. Okay, so now that I've got that ran through, it's right here. It says plug that in there. Okay, so we got the turn signals and the hazard, and this kit's awesome. They even come with this little lubricant that you put on it that helps it get a better electrical connection, and it's got 2 of these tubes. What it says to do is it says to basically to take the plug, put little dabs on each of these, that way when you plug it in, it rubs it and goes in and it gets it on the connector. This is the turn signal switch right here. We're gonna do that first. So let's go ahead and take and put a little bit of this on each of these connectors. There we go, we got them all hooked up. What we're gonna wanna do is grab the turn signal switch. We're gonna wanna put it in here. Make sure it's facing the right way. So what I'm seeing now is I'm already gonna have to widen this thing a little bit. That's where the Dremel, I don't wanna mess it up. That's where the Dremel would be good, because you can use the Dremel to trim around it. The suggestion is definitely cut it a little bit smaller and then widen it if you need to, because if you cut it too big from the get-go, well, then you're not really going to be able to make it smaller. Okay, so there we go. There's the turn signal switch. There's the hazard switch. We are going to hook up the horn switch, but not right at this second. There are some things that we've got to now drill in the front, so let's go ahead and jump to that. So the next thing we've got to do is we've got to drill these lights, drill the whole squirm driver's side, put this straight with this corner there, and we are going to go ahead and just throw a little bit of painter's tape on it to hold it in place. And you just want to drill right there where the dot is. Same thing over here, and get this little piece lined up right here. Do the same thing over here to the passenger side. We want to make these 3/4 inch, so we got a step bit that goes to 3/4 inch. That makes it super easy. Okay, so it now says that we just run these lights through here, get them plugged in. I'm not gonna push them all the way in right this second till I know they're ready. I can hook them up, test them, all that good stuff. Okay, so we've got the wires ran to all of the turn signals and plugged in. We are gonna have to zip tie some stuff up so it's out of the way. It says from the wheel well here, we're supposed to run this in along the drive line. That's what I'm looking at right now, is this will run to the back. So we do got to take these 3 bolts over here off, and a couple of these pin things. We got to get these pulled out, because we got to open up this tunnel. We're going to run it through here, and then it's going to go through the back, and it's going to run all the way to the back. That slides out, and it exposes this drivetrain here. Gosh, this is so muddy. And roots. These people are having fun, but this is where these other wires are laid, and this is pretty much what we're gonna do, is just run it along that. And we'll zip tie some of that. I believe we've got to go to the back here. Okay, so in the rear, you want to open this up and remove these 2 clips right here so we can pick this part up. And I think we got to pull those pins. That way we can run the wiring harness across the top. You need it across the top of the intake tubes. So that's what we're doing right now. Okay, it might be hard to see, but we've ran it through the back, and now we want to pull the wire harness out and connect it to the OEM lights. Okay, so there we go. We've got the fuses and such. One of these plugs here goes to the OEM harness and one of them goes for the tail lights. And basically this is where you get your power supply from, and this is where you integrate the rear lights into the switches. So after we do this and we put the fuse in, we should have rear lights and rear hazards and turn signals, as well as front hazards and turn signals. Okay, so we turn on the lights, we turn on the key, we should have turn signals. We have them on the switch. Yep, and the rear lights got turn signals. And both of the front ones are working. So there we go. You can see right here on the ground that the rear right side's working, left side, and hazards. So all we have to do now is kind of zip tie everything down, make sure it's out of the way, and then we've got to wire up the horn and get it put in position, and then put it all back together and it's ready to go. This is probably the easiest harness that I've used. We're gonna go ahead and finish this paint job, and then we're gonna come back and get this finished up and get it to the customer. If you have any questions, link them down below. If you like this content, smash up the like button. We'll be right back. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and install this horn from the kit. First thing you gotta do, take the fuse out, pop this back on. We'll put that in after we get everything hooked up. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna do is just like we did with the lights, we're gonna pull this grommet off right here. We're gonna fit this through that's going to plug into the switch. There we go. And we will run it down into here. As you can tell, if you start to get a lot of things in there, it can be pretty tight. Put it in at an angle, you should be good.
There we go.
There we go. The next thing we do is we get this electrical lube. They gave us two things of this, one in the horn kit, one in the turn signal kit. And the first thing we want to do is get the horn button, get it installed right here. Then we take this lube and we put it a little bit on each of the connectors to make sure there's a good contact. So it's all lubed up. Make sure it's all the way on. Good to go. Okay, while we're in here, I'm going to take the box from the turn signal and I'm going to zip tie it along with some of the extra wires right here. There we go. So the next thing is to take this plug and plug it into the pulse bar here, which they've just got a cap on.
Can't be a pain to get off. Do you need the lube for that?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and lube this up. There we go, all lubed up and installed. Okay, now this is going to run to the horn, and we have to see where they want us to hook this up at. So this is what they want you to do. You gotta turn this. And this is gonna go right here. And they say you wanna install the top screw, and then you're gonna wanna install the bottom screw. Just like this.
A little tight, snug. Hey, wait, stand still. Turn to your side. Go like this, right? Down towards your waist. Take one foot, go like this. Have you seen that before? Then I was gonna have you look back at the back of your foot, and I was gonna go, hey!
Okay, now we got a Phillips tip on this. Let's go ahead and get it. And then the second one. Be careful not to strip it out.
So plug them in.
Now we gotta put the fuse back in and we'll have a horn.
What size fuse is that, 15?
Yeah, this is a 15 amp and it comes with it. What's up everybody? We've got it all put back together. Now it's time to take it on its new maiden voyage, make sure everything works great, and then get it back to the customer.
Do the blinkers.
Well, that's it, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this type of content and you want more content like this, consider hitting the subscribe button down below and turning on all post notifications so you're alerted every time we upload new content. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and we're going to catch you in the next video. Peace.